I'm a bad mood, gotta keep it tight. Hold my baby squid, keep him out of sight. Talking about my life, government, stay away. Watch me drive, I'ma do it my own way. Squid in the ocean, swimming all alone. Ain't nobody telling me where to go. Living free, gotta stay true to myself. No need for interference from anyone else. Squid pro quo, that's the way to be. Living on my terms, setting myself free. Mama to my baby, protecting with my no government intrusion. I control my life.
Sorry, I forgot to put my headphones in. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me now? Um, I thought I was going to be able to hold it together, um, but apparently I suck at that. Um, about 20 minutes ago, I was laying down with the little, trying to get her to nap, and she's actually taking a nap. But then I got a text message from Tammy mentioning Megan's tweet, and I'm like, sorry, sorry, Tammy, I thought you were um, effing joking. Like I thought you were, um, I didn't think you were telling me the truth. But I looked in, and Megan wouldn't post um, something like that um, unless she had it verified. Um, I know you would never, but I was really, really, really hoping that you would in this case, because I didn't want to believe you. Um, but yeah, so let's yeah. Um, hold on a second. Um, yeah. Like just give me 1 second. We're sorry, I feel very like out of sorts right now. So because Jeff was one of the people that supported me the most when I first started this up. Um, Alex, Jeff, Megan, Brad, like they're people that just have a special place because they helped me so much when I first started my channel. When I said I wanted to do this stupid YouTube shit. Um, uh, um, let me hey Manders, how are you? And I texted Flux and to see if she was okay because Jeff and Flux were close. Um, and I wasn't super close with Jeff. I wasn't. But like he had been on my channel. Um, I just can't like I just can't like I just can't. Ah. She hasn't texted me back yet. I'm assuming she's at work. Um, uh, and like I didn't know. And somebody please, I gotta message John to check on Danny, Danny on because not only is she from Utah, she her husband's from Korea, so her and Jeff have a special connection too. And I know that they get along really well, and Ozzy Overlord. But this is kind of like all new. Like I had this live scheduled, and I'm like, crap. Like I don't want, I don't want to. And he just posted on X. Okay. um, she's she's from Utah. Not too far from where Jeff is from. Um, she goes back and forth. Um, sorry, I'm not a pretty crier. So like he was the first YouTuber that to give you a wrench. Hey Brad, you want a link? Uh, I just maybe I don't know, but I know Megan well enough to know that I was hoping that someone I text Roslyn and Rogue Mama and I was like, please tell me somebody hacked Megan's Twitter. Like just tell me that she had like someone had yeah, like just maybe like I don't know. I subscribed to Legal Vices when he had like less than 500 subscribers. During I think it was I'm not sure which trial it was. I think it was Kyle Rittenhouse, but I don't know. It's I can't really Reagan found out because they were supposed to be live this morning and he didn't show. She posted that she called his phone and his ex-wife answered. Oh. Yeah, that would do it because Monday mornings are, yeah. Yeah, I think everybody who knew him personally and had his phone number, we were not that close where I didn't have his phone number, but like, you know, um, they said heart failure, but I work, okay, I'm not, this is just me like overanalyzing, and that's what I do when I use, yeah. Um, Ruku Mama thinks Megan opened a locals chat if anyone needs to talk later. Um, so like I don't know. That'd be very hard to hide. Like that'd be very hard to hide. Like the only thing I can think of is heart attack. Like I can see that. I mean, still sucks, not gonna lie. But like heart failure. I worked on a heart failure floor. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like it doesn't I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at his streams and investigate, but I don't know. Everybody's kind of in shock right now. Oi, I really don't know what to make of this. And like, yeah, like, I can't even. Uh, yeah, I can't even like. Yeah, this is that's about how I feel. And usually, like, you know, I don't know. Usually, I talk a lot, and yeah, I can't believe this either. Jeff was one of a kind. Prayers to his family. Yeah, just, I mean, I don't know. It's just usually I have a lot to say about everything, and I'm like, what do you do? I don't know. Like I just if, there's probably a good thing that I don't have like wine in the house right now because I'd pour myself a glass. Oh boy. Anyway, Megan's tweet said, I don't know how to tell you this, but it needs to be said. Our friend Legal Vices passed away from a heart failure yesterday in Seoul. The doggies are okay. I'm still processing this, but his audience and all of us who loved him need to know. I'm so sorry for his family and friends. We love you, Jeff. Like, I just, yeah, I don't think this is, I agree with Nicholas Starro. This isn't fair. Like, um, Yeah. Yep. Yep. So I was a little late because I was sitting here and I was just like sitting here like, do I or don't I? Or do I? And what we have to talk about today is not my most favorite subject either, but like, you know, I don't I don't know. I'm like it's maybe I should just get into the topic we were going to talk about and try to ignore how I feel right now. Um yeah. And I actually did my makeup today and now it's like all over my, so if I look like I have a black eye by the end of the stream, um yeah, definitely one of a kind and love respected by many. They would want you to go on with the stream. I mean, I don't know. Like it's just weird. Like it's just weird. I don't know. Like Jeff and I were not close. I just have to respond to a message. Ugh. Uh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna mute myself and stop my camera so I'm not blowing my nose. Oh yeah. Sorry about that. Seriously, like this is just yeah. Ugh. Anyway, um, yep. So if you want to cry it out, yeah, I'm crying on camera. Like yeah. All right. Let's just oh yeah, Jeff was amazing. Like I don't know what it was, but Jeff was like just a bro. Like just a bro. Oh my God. Oh, sorry about this. And I'm sorry if I broke the news to anybody that didn't know. Um whoop whoa. I don't know what I clicked on, but all of a sudden like everything opened. Like everything opened. So we have to go over here. Um like all my tabs just opened. That is just so bizarre. We're just gonna close that. Oh, appreciate it. Tell Coop I said hi. Yes, and a 12-year-old unalived an adult in Milwaukee. It's a crazy day. Just today, yeah. You're fine. You're fine. I appreciate yeah. Like, uh, yeah. I just a little like, yeah. Sorry, y'all. Um, we are going to get into this though because this is something I want to talk about. Um, and I'm gonna put um Dr. Joe's um link. I put it in the description, but I'm gonna drop it in the chat. Um, and I have to And how the hell do I have 2,580 subscribers? Like, how? Look, I love y'all, but how? And why? This is just me we're talking about. Um, so I have to go into my control room in order to pin that. StreamYard won't let me do it. So, and usually I open it up. Um, oh, and today is the first day where I have a goal for super chats, and it's like the least likely day I ever want to use it. Um, ah, like that's the first time that a goal has popped up for super chats, and now I have absolutely no desire to even like, you know, um, where did I put my? There we go. Pin message. There we go. So this stream was originally supposed to be about Dr. Joe and a lawsuit. So for those of you who don't know, Dr. Joe was a he's a doctor. He's an OB. He was this chief medical officer at a hospital, I believe HCA. Um, and he I'm trying my best, guys. Um, he like I don't agree with everything maybe about the hospital debacle that was 2020, but Dr. Joe is one of those guys who reminds you that the healthcare system in this country might not be as fucked as we think it is. Um, uh, and uh, thank you, Duncan Idaho, for the $10 super chat. Jeff gave a good accounting of himself. We don't get to choose necessarily when or how, but none of us are making this out of here alive. He was successful in doing what he loved, couldn't ask for more. True. And thank you, Tammy, for the $5 super chat. All the love. Like I said, I didn't know Jeff that well. Like he came on my stream. He supported me from the start, wanting to do this, but like we were not like super text every day or kind of people. But because he was one of the first people to help me with my channel, and when I asked him to come on my channel for my my hurricane stream, he uh he instantly said yes, and he even promoted it on his channel. Like I wasn't even monetized at the time. Um, yeah, he touched a lot of hearts and made a lot of people smile. Like, oh, he's such a good guy. Like, he was so much fun to watch. And even when he got bigger, he still tried his best to communicate with his chat and keep you know I don't know. It's yeah. Oh, Jeff, what is it? He is a diamond. Yes. Oh, sorry. I have to mute. Yeah. He and I loved his area of law. Being a sailor, whenever he did Maritime Mondays, it was like he always had my attention. Like being a sailor, it was really interesting to hear his perspective on things. Um, seriously, and Michael Rivers was his like editor and who did like all his merch and everything like that, right? Uh, this is just yeah, I'm gonna miss the shit out of that guy. Yeah. Okay, it was Johnny Depp. I was like, it had to be Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, right? For some reason, like I couldn't remember if it was that or Rittenhouse. Uh, he has a channel or had a channel called Legal Vices. Um, I think he had like 75,000, maybe 70, like 80,000 subscribers. He was awesome. Yeah, Doggo. Unknown Hero, thanks for the $2 super chat. Doggo Cam has been reached for the last time. Yeah, I think I subscribed to Jeff when he had like less than 1,000 or 500 subscribers. Like he was on with Rackets. Rackets said go subscribe, and that was the first time that someone said go subscribe to somebody else, and I actually did. Like, and I haven't regretted it since. Uh, this is just a really bad day. And it has to be a Monday, doesn't it? Like it's the most Mondayest of Mondays ever. Like I just can't. Yeah, like you just can't. And Duncan, Idaho member for 2 months. Geez, I can't believe I've had members for that long. Um, I missed the heck out of him. Really great guy. Yeah, I was really hoping that somebody hacked Megan's. I was really hoping that Megan's thing had been hacked. Yep, JD versus AH. I remember that day with Knucklehead Dr. Spiegel. Oh my goodness. Uh, yep. Yeah. And like, okay, I feel bad for like, oh, it's two-pronged here, and I don't want to sound very selfish, but like that's a part of my morning that I'm never gonna get to have again. Like Jeff was a great guy, but like my selfish side goes, that's a like 9 a.m. like that I'm never gonna get to like that's my that was part of my morning routine. It was like wake up at like 7. I'd watch well, whenever the little let me get up. Um watch Mo while we're making breakfast, and then Jeff right after. And then after that, it was generally Megan, 11 o'clock noon, something like that. Like I had a routine, and Jeff was part of that routine. And now, oh yes, I feel like Megan needs to do like a marathon of all the streams. Yeah, the give it a whirl. Holy crap, give it a whirl. One, I don't have a soundboard yet, but when I do have a soundboard, it will be filled with legal viceisms. The give it a whirl, like you know. Ah, thank you. And sorry, I'm not like, you know, I don't know. Okay, I don't know whose was funnier, Jeff's or Emily D. Baker's. Like, Jeff sounded like a Muppet. Sounded like a pissed off Grover. Like, thank you. Okay, um let's get into this. And hey Jennifer, how are you? Oh, oh my God, Jeff was one of a kind, and there will be nobody on YouTube or in the world that um yeah, I from the story that I've received is that Jeff and Megan were supposed to stream this morning, and they were. It's Monday, but I hadn't thought about it. And then Megan couldn't get a hold of him, and or called his phone, and his ex-wife answered and gave her the juice. And everybody, like, go give Megan your support, like, and keep Megan in your prayers too, because he and Megan and Flux, they were all close. And Danny on direct, like, and she's pregnant too. Oh goodness, like the emotions flowing through that girl right now. Uh, sorry, I do this. go to his channel and grab those 7 bites. Yeah, that's true. I really hope they leave it up for a while as like yeah. Oh yes, I'm all for this. Like, remember Jeff was on my channel when I only had like 400 subscribers? Like, I don't think I even had that much. Yeah, Jennifer, you were always on his channel. Like, that's where I met you. Like, that's where I first saw you, was I think in Jeff's channel. It was either Jeff or Megan's, but I think it was Jeff's. Uh, use that as you need a distraction. And shopping. Because then you worry about, oh crap, I gotta spend money. And not, yeah. But this is a topic that I really want to talk about too. Like, I've been, like, when I heard this, I was like, I have to talk about that. We have to give Dr. Joe our support. I have not read the lawsuit. Like, I, it just turned into such a bad day. First Jeff at 5 and oh my goodness. And I am so sorry for you. Like, yeah, yeah, I think Megan's gonna need some time. Like, so go show Megan your love. And if you don't subscribe to Megan, you should. It's totally worth it. Megan's like that big sister everybody needed. She's uh Flux's internet mom, which the hater channels thought it was so funny. Like all right. So um funny story from yesterday. Uh when I was streaming last night, um I actually like blocked somebody from my chat. Not for being rude, but for being stupid. This person told me that okay, this person told me, and I'm gonna read the excerpts of what um read what the screenshots I would have sent. Um if you aren't a lawyer, you don't know what we were talking about how to tell a good lawyer from a bad lawyer, because we were kind of making fun of bubbles. Um Kathy, just wait. Um it said she said, if you aren't a lawyer, and she's been in the chat before, kind of a troll, but you know me and trolls. If you're not disrespectful and you're just here to like give a differing opinion, fine. Like, I don't care. Like, that's part of being, that's part of being human, and part of being in the US is you have to be open to ideas that you don't agree with. So that's part of the reason I don't block trolls, is if I block them, one, I don't get to hear what they think. And sometimes I'm like, why the hell do you think that? Like, and I like to hear the why. Um, and secondly, it's like, if I block them from my channel, then I'm no better than they are blocking people from their channel. So if you're respectful, come in, whatever. And this person had been here before. She's not, and I didn't block her. I timed her out for 24 hours. But she said, if you aren't a lawyer, you don't know what a good one is. And she's like, I'm not hating. If you don't understand the legal system, you can't judge. And she says she works as a legal researcher for lawyers. And I thought that was so incredibly, incredibly stupid that I like couldn't handle it. I was like, what do you think a jury is? They're non-lawyer. They're non-lawyers who judge. And saying you don't know what a lawyer is, and I'm sorry I'm talking about this, but people have commented on that video. People have commented on that video about, oh, you had my heart at 23 minutes, and I had to look to see what 23 minutes timestamp was. So if you want to see the actual interaction, it was 23 minutes into last night's stream. But it was just funny to me, because I'm like, so you can't tell a doctor, a good doctor from a bad one, because you're not a doctor. And I think I gave the example, like, I might not be a construction worker or an architect, but if I walk over a bridge and it falls, I can tell a good one from a bad one. Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to, isn't it? Like, I was like, you can't tell a good lawyer from a bad one because you're not a lawyer. Like, uh, huh? Like, huh? Like how the like how do you even do that? Like you can tell it like and someone in the chat said it perfectly. It was like you could take this and put it towards so many things. One person was like, um, yeah, I don't need to be a chef to know if the food's good. Somebody else was like, I'm not good at, or I'm not a golfer, but I know a good shot from a bad shot. Like, I don't play football, but I know a good throw from a bad throw. Like, like it was just so stupid. Not good at, like, it's afternoon, but it's not a good one. Mm. So, and I'm sorry if like I said, I'm not a pretty crier, so I'm trying to hold it together. But if I was here, I'm not a lawyer, but I play one on TV. I'm not a lawyer, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. All right. So this is Dr. Joe's. I don't know. They just said they were a researcher. I'm assuming just a clerk in a law office or the grunt work. A person who wants to be a paralegal but just isn't, or like which kind of I wouldn't mind doing. Um, so this is Dr. Joe's. Um, Dr. Joe is a former OBGYN. He was a chief medical officer at a hospital. He started a YouTube channel after Maya, and he has 10,000 subscribers. He's amazing. Um, go show him some love. He put a community post up 2 days ago. Um, it says, hello, or 3 days ago now. Hello, advocates. Yes, I'm still alive and well. Um, Thank you for your messages of support, your prayers, and your concerns for my family and me. We have persevered through a very challenging year, which included a loss of a family member, and not one, but two hurricanes directly hitting our home in Florida. That would be Helene and Milton. I've also been navigating a substantial financial threat, which started in February. You may recall that I talked on the channel about some sinister stuff, which shook my world. About 20 minutes ago, I got a text message saying the story, quote, got out and was being discussed by the notorious Jules later on today on Trial TV. While I cannot join her to discuss it, I understand why this is no longer a personal matter. I will return to my YouTube channel after the first of the year. I've been in touch with my mods and others who want to help make the channel more interactive, as has always been my dream. I hope to share a channel that is bigger and better, bringing you important information on how to navigate the healthcare system to get the very best care for you and your loved ones. And then you just says sign up for notifications, And then this is where I part of the place I got it. Remember to take care of yourself so that you could take care of others. So he is suing HCA Healthcare, and I have not read this. I feel bad because I totally forgot about Chandler. Yeah, she was another ride or die. Um, wow, I don't know football, but I know. Oh my goodness! And you know what? I feel like Jeff would want us to laugh because if we didn't laugh, like, what are we really doing here? Um, and I have to see where I actually saved it and not in my downloads, and that's where I'm like, can't find it. Because you ever do that where you like put something where it's supposed to be, and you're like, I can't find it because it's actually in the folder it's supposed to be in. I have a folder for each one of my cases, and each one of my major my major topics I'm covering, and like it's it's one of those things of like sometimes when I download stuff, I'm thinking it's in my download folder so I can easily get to it. It's the last thing I downloaded, and then I look at it and it's like, no, I actually put it where it was supposed to go. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Uh, yeah, yeah. Man, we've Yeah, that's why I look like this. I haven't been able to keep it together for the first 30 minutes of the stream, but we're going to give it a shot. Alrighty. We are going to read um, this lawsuit, and I have not read this yet. I read the first sentence, and that's it. So I figured we would do this together. And if I pinned Dr. Joe's channel at the top of the page, so, and I put his link also in the description of this video. If you do not subscribe to him, go and subscribe to him. He is awesome. He is one of those doctors who makes me think that there's hope for the medical field in this country. He was and I'm sorry, my brain is a little screwy. He was an expert witness for Maya Kowalski in the Don't Tell or Take Care of Maya trial. And there is something interesting that you will see. I looked at the last bit of this. So there's something interesting at the end of this lawsuit with what law office he's using that I found very very interesting and kind of nice actually. Rosalind, I hate today. I'm going back to bed. Yeah, I don't blame you. I Larry knows he responded to Megan's post. Okay. If it helps, I look like that too. I think a lot of us do, which is why I'm like, I have my camera on because you know me. I'm for better or for worse. I'm real with you guys. Okay. Joseph Corcoran, plaintiff v. HCA Inc., also known as HCA Healthcare Inc., Far West Division Inc., HCA Management Services LP, Health Trust Workforce Solutions LLC, and Merrill Lynch Pierce Feiner Smith and Inc. Incorporated. Complaint for damages. Plaintiff Joseph Corcoran, DO, files his complaint against defendants HCA Inc., HCA Healthcare Inc., Far West Division Incorporated, HCA Management Services LP, Health Trust Workforce Solutions LLC, and Merrill Lynch Pierce Feiner Smith Incorporated, collectively defendants. Alleges as follows. Jurisdiction and venue. 1. This is an action for damages exceeding $50,000. Jurisdiction is proper under Section 48.193(1) Florida statutes, given that the defendants 1. Operated, conducted, engaged in, and carried on a business or business venture in the state or have an office in the state. 2. Committed tortious acts within the state. 3. Owned, used, or possessed real property within this state. 4. Caused injury to persons within the state while defendants were engaged in solicitation or service activities within the state. And 5. Breached a contract in this state by failing to perform acts required by the contract to be performed in this state. Jurisdiction is also proper under Section 48.193, paragraph 2, Florida statutes, given that defendants are engaged in substantial, non-isolated activity within the state. Oy. If you can't be real with us, you can't be real. Well, ain't that the truth? Hey, fly on the wall. Hey, PG. Hey, Angie. Oh, just an all-around shitty day. And the thing is before I got the news, to me, it was like a good day. Like I got up and I worked out this morning. I wasn't in pain. Like it like I got a decent night's sleep. And it was like, yeah. 4. Plaintiff Joseph Corcoran, DO, Dr. Corcoran or plaintiff is an at all times material here too has remained a Hillsborough County, Florida resident. Defendant HCA Healthcare Inc. HCA is an active for-profit. That's part of the problem right there. That's, in my opinion, that's part of the problem with our healthcare in this country is it's for-profit. Legal Vices passed away yesterday, and we're all just kind of now finding out. So, and it sucks. It just sucks. Is an active for-profit corporation licensed to do business in Florida and operated at all relevant times to this lawsuit, a hospital in Hillsborough County, Florida, named HCA Florida Brandon Hospital, located at, the address of the hospital, which is public. Even though it's an address, it's a freaking hospital. It's public. Affiliate or HCA operates 650 plus affiliated care sites across the state and provides care to millions of families who call Florida home. Defendant Far West Division Inc. Far West Division is a for-profit corporation. Getting ahead of myself. My brain is moving faster than my lips can read. Registered as a foreign business in Nevada and originally incorporated in California and submitted to jurisdiction in Florida by committing tortious acts within the state and breaching a contract in this state. Defendant HCA Management Services LP. HCA Management Services is a foreign limited partnership registered to do business in Florida and submitted to jurisdiction in Florida by committing tortious acts within the state and breaching a contract within the state. Defendant Health Trust Workforce Solutions LLC, HWS, is an active foreign limited liability company licensed to do business in Florida. It is an interim staffing company placing temporary employees at any of HCA's 180 plus hospitals nationwide, including those in Hillsborough County, Florida, and is wholly owned by HCA. Defendant Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner, and Smith, Incorporated. Merrill Lynch is an active for-profit corporation licensed to do business in Florida that managed the stock-based compensation accounts on behalf of HCA and its employee beneficiaries. I checked this morning to see if Jeff was streaming for something to watch while working. Mornings are going to be a lot emptier without Jeff. Yeah. Like I said, we had a Mo was my 8 to 9, and then Jeff was my 9 to 10:30 or 11 or whenever, and then up until basically I started. Megan was like between 11 and 12 ish, and it was like that was my day, and that progressed through my day, especially when the little was super little, and like I timed my nursing sessions with each stream. If that sounds weird, it's because it is. Like this right here. And sorry, Kim, I'm not going to read it because if I read it, I'm going to start crying again. But I'm right there with you. Yeah, I feel this. I feel this right here. Common factual allegations. In 2013, Dr. Corcoran became a full-time chief medical officer for HCA. During his 10 plus years of service with HCA, Dr. Corcoran's performance earned him a promotion from hospital level to division level chief medical officer and substantial stock compensation awards. He was making he was making a killing. As the facility's chief medical officer between 2013 and 2018, Dr. Corcoran helped lead the quality of patient care transformation at Brandon Hospital, improving its standing from the bottom quartile of HCA hospitals to the top decile. Raising Brandon's hospital, I had to think about what that was. And raising Brandon's hospital leapfrog hospital safety rating from a D to an A. As early as Q1 of 2014, Dr. Corcoran became eligible for HCA's stock compensation plan. Initially, he earned restricted stock units and performance stock units. This occurred when HCA expanded the plan to include CMOs serving its largest and most prominent facilities. And that's not unusual. Like, part of being in management is usually get stock options. Same with a for-profit hospital. Legal Vice has passed away. So we're just having a day. And we are covering Dr. Joe Corcoran, who has the channel CMO Joe, who is also one of those doctors that reminds you that they're still decent doctors and trustworthy people in this world. He he is suing HCA Healthcare. In Q4 of 2018, Dr. Corcoran was promoted to Division Chief Medical Officer, DCMO, for Far West Division, overseeing 8 HCA acute care hospitals in California and Nevada from a base in Henderson, Nevada. Along with this promotion, Dr. Corcoran continued to excel within HCA, earning additional annual RSU and PSU grants. He was also granted additional stock-based compensation in the form of stock appreciation rights. These SARs were granted to Dr. Corcoran by HCA and Far West Division, annually and vested during his continuing service to HCA and Far West Division. These SARs, in connection with Dr. Corcoran's stock-based compensation, HCA introduced Dr. Corcoran to Merrill Lynch, who, at all times relevant to this action, managed and acted as a fiduciary for HCA's employees who earned stock-based compensation. Merrill Lynch managed and facilitated HCA's stock compensation program, and in that role managed the stock-based compensation for Dr. Corcoran and many other HCA executives. Megan said heart failure. They were supposed to stream. This morning, and I guess he didn't show. And she called his phone, and his ex-wife answered. So, hey, Daily, looking around for family. Now is not the time for autocomplete to mess with me. Yep, we're all here together, and yep. Yep, we're all here together. I mean, that's all we can do, right? Yeah. Dr. Corcoran did not have a business relationship with Merrill Lynch until early 2014, when HCA opened accounts on his behalf to facilitate Merrill Lynch's management and oversight of Dr. Corcoran's stock-based compensation. Dr. Corcoran regularly viewed his stock-based compensation in the form of RSUs, PSUs, and SARs on the various Merrill Lynch HCA platforms, including those known as HCARewards.com, BeConnected, MyMerrill.com, BenefitsOnline.com, and MyFinancialPicture.com. The Merrill Lynch/HCA platforms displayed the SARs and stock-based compensation awarded to Dr. Corcoran during his service with HCA, and included data fields indicating the grant date, number of shares, the vesting date, grant price, and deadline to exercise his rights. And the footnote, the status change letter attached below as Exhibit 2 contains a subset of the information viewable on the various Merrill Lynch HCA platforms. Dr. Corcoran's 2018 promotion to DCMO required him to relocate from his home in Florida to Far West Division headquarters in Nevada, including nearly 3 years of living 2,000 miles apart from his family, his loving wife, daughter, and son. When possible, Dr. Corcoran would travel home to Tampa, Florida to spend cherished time with his family, a cross-country travel schedule impeded by the COVID pandemic, the hell that was 2020. With this promotion in 2018, HCA and Far West Division granted Dr. Corcoran additional stock-based compensation, including approximately 4,880 stock appreciation rights. From 2014 to 2022, HCA and Far West Division granted Dr. Corcoran's RSU and PSU units. Following his promotion to DCMO, HCA and Far West Division granted Dr. Corcoran additional SARs each subsequent year. Dr. Corcoran received additional stock-based compensation, RSUs, PSUs, and SARs in 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. HCA granted Dr. Corcoran the SARs each year subject to the stock appreciation rights agreement then in effect, which bound HCA and its subsidiaries, see the stock appreciation rights agreements as attached composite Exhibit 1. After his daughter was hospitalized for several days at hospital's pediatric intensive care unit, I'm assuming something was something was there. Um, in February of 2021, after he encountered repeated multi-day delays in getting her bedside or to her bedside due to weather-related travel disruptions, Dr. Corcoran initiated discussions with his two immediate supervisors, HCA National Group Chief Medical Officer Dr. Michael Schlosser and Far West Division President Brian Cook, requesting transfer to an appropriate role closer to his family in Tampa, Florida. And that makes total sense. Like your daughter just went into the hospital, you're 2,000 miles from home, and you decide that this job is not for me because I need to be closer to family. Makes total sense. In September of 2021, after commuting cross country between Las Vegas and Tampa for nearly 3 years, Dr. Corcoran and HCA agreed that Dr. Corcoran could return to Tampa with his wife and teenage children and continue to explore appropriate opportunities within HCA closer to his family's Tampa home. HCA Far West Division, HCA Management Services, and Dr. Corcoran agreed in Q4 of 2021 that Dr. Corcoran would return to Tampa on a full-time basis, and HCA would work with Dr. Corcoran to find him a suitable role within HCA in the local market, Tampa and surrounding communities. Over the intervening 5 months, the only full-time role HCA offered Dr. Corcoran was at the facility's CMO at Blake Hospital in Bradenton, Florida, a hospital far smaller than Brandon Hospital, where Dr. Corcoran had previously excelled, with a long-standing reputation centered on a highly dysfunctional medical staff and chronically underperforming administrative teams. Welcome to the U.S. healthcare system. Welcome to the U.S. healthcare system. Oy. And Tammy, I probably will be covering that maybe sometime this week. Every day is kind of super busy. I'm trying to catch up from all that all that the last month has brought to me has made me a very busy person. My channel went from being me and some people that helped me out from the start to 2,000 people, and not pressure, but like, y'all subscribe to me. I have to make your subscription worth the effort or worth your time. So and I got backed up on all my cases because, question. Kaylee, you and JKD Buck and Jennifer would know this more than me, but did his family ever find out that he had a YouTube channel? So, because like, because that they don't know how exactly loved he was by thousands and thousands of people. So, like, did they ever find that out? Did he ever tell them? And I'm sorry, this is part of where my why I only wear one headphone is so that I can change them, because my head is sensitive and my ears hurt from headphones. I can only keep them in for such a little bit of time. So I have to keep switching them out. I think they had to know because that watch Jeff got his dad came from YouTube money. That's a good point. Yeah, I thought that was the case though. From the last time that he was in Utah, they still didn't know. I remember him hiding in his he was hiding in his sister's closet on an iPad, streaming. Like, I think they had, yeah. Not as far as I know, his son came closest to finding out. They're in for a world of shock. When Megan talked to his wife, or his ex-wife, I wonder if she said he was supposed to be on YouTube this morning. She was probably like, say what? They're in I thought he told him. And I don't remember. He might have. I don't remember. So it's a matter of time before they figure it out now. Somebody's bound to tell them. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yep. That would be the one and only. Yeah. All right, back to this. Um, let's this sentence bears repeating. Blake Hospital in Bradenton, Florida, a hospital far smaller than Brandon Hospital, where Dr. Corcoran had previously excelled, with a long-standing reputation centered on a highly dysfunctional medical staff and chronically underperforming administration teams. That statement just makes me laugh because that is so true for many hospitals. Um, and a couple of you know that the hospital that I worked at, and you can see that, yeah. um, Lori, you probably drive by the hospital that I worked at every day. You can see it from miles and miles away because that one building just sticks out in the middle of the south side. Um, anyway, Dr. Corcoran declined this offer as the multi-hour round-trip commute hardly fulfilled the goal of such a transfer within HCA and was effectively a demotion from his division DCMO role within Far West Division. Mine does, but I don't think they care. I mean, my parents do, but I'm not sure like my extended family gives a shit. No, that's okay. Sorry. Chewing my if y'all don't ever have never tried these, they're really good for when you just want to cough all the time, but they taste like candy. And they're probably not the greatest for you, but they are so good. On February 1st, 2022, unable to find unable to find reasonably full-time opportunities within HCA in the local market, Dr. Corcoran entered into a separation agreement with Far West Division and HCA Management Service effective March 1st, 2022. HCA had a complete knowledge of the separation agreement. See the separation agreement attached as Exhibit 2. The separation agreement included release language, but precisely carved out Dr. Corcoran's rights to receive a full year share of incentive reward under the company's Performance Excellence Program on or about March 11th, 2022, and any other accrued benefits as required by law, including the vested portion of employees' account under any incentive compensation, retirement, or deferred compensation plan. Like reading through this, I can see that what I'm assuming going forward is that they agreed to this and they didn't pay it out. And it's like, dude, pay it out. Ugh. Yeah, HCA trying to claw back at his fire money. HCA is trying to not what I'm assuming, and we'll get to it. But just from reading this so far, it seems like they owe him money and they didn't pay it up. Which, hey, if you're entitled to money, it doesn't matter if you're very well off or you are living paycheck to paycheck. If someone owes you money, someone owes you money. And I don't know about y'all, but when it comes to money, I don't play. Hey, Gabby. And two awesome dogs, but your parents are awesome. Yeah, they it, they were not as leery about this YouTube thing as Mr. Squid was. And he still looks at me like I can't believe he doesn't comment ever. But the only time he commented is when he said they better leave the baby out of it. And it was like, oh, there's that. Like he goes, you take care of it or I will. And that's why I just take care of it. Speak of the devil and she shall appear. Hey, Mom. Uh, hey, Mom. It's not a good day. You remember Legal Vices? Well, we lost a good one. Ugh. Concurrent with the execution of the separation agreement, HCA facilitated Dr. Corcoran's transfer to Health Trust Workforce Solutions, HCA's wholly owned staffing company, to join and consider interim CMO roles. Importantly, HCA Far West Division, HCA Management Services, and HWS share and co-manage many systems, including a human resources information system. In other words, the transition was seamless and Dr. Corcoran's access to many HCA resources and functions remained uninterrupted. HCA's stated goal was to keep Dr. Corcoran within its system, even if he would be formally employed by one of HCA's subsidiaries. After Dr. Corcoran joined HWS, he continued using HCA resources and programs, including but not limited to his HCA issued laptop, his HCA Corporate American Express card. How do I get one of those? His HCA email account and other company resources, including BC Connected, a benefits portal maintained by HCA. On March 1st, 2022, Dr. Corcoran received an email from HWS affirming that he had been provided access to Health Trust Workforce Solutions, Workforce 2.0 system. On March 3rd, 2022, Dr. Corcoran received a welcome letter via email and was cleared to start his first HWS assignment as interim CMO at HCA's Bayonet Point Hospital, located just north of Tampa. Dr. Corcoran worked in this role as interim CMO from March through late June of 2022. On March 4th, 2022, Merrill Lynch received a weekly HRIS status update from HCA. According to Kevin Barnes, Dr. Corcoran's Merrill Lynch advisor, the HRIS update, a data feed from HCA's Human Resources Information System, flowed through Merrill Lynch's systems, which continued to reflect a 10-year exercise window for Dr. Corcoran's SARS. Dr. Corcoran properly understood the information provided by HCA and Merrill through HRIS to mean he enjoyed a 10-year window in which to exercise his stock options even after his, quote, separation from Far West Division and transition to HWS. And this is what sucks about the healthcare system too, is it's just so complicated. It's like you might be seeing a doctor at, say, Advocate Healthcare. And just because you see that that doctor might have privileges at that hospital, but that doctor is not employed at that hospital. He's not employed by that hospital. And that's where from my experience in healthcare, and my experience, having a baby and having a baby that was in the NICU for a little bit, the doctors that were in the NICU were not employed by the hospital system. They were contracted by a neonatal partner. So you not only get the bill from the hospital, but you get the bill from the doctors themselves and the doctors group. So it's like, just because you are seeing a doctor within a healthcare system does not necessarily mean that a doctor is employed by the healthcare system, which is what makes everything messy. So it's yeah, usually you see something with heart failure, shortness of breath or something, but Jeff looked and sounded fine. Yeah, the only other thing that healthcare can do is, well, you never see Jeff's legs or feet, but you can get water retention, weight gain, which is where the shortness of breath comes from, because that fluid gets on your lungs. You also can get around the armpit and like armpit area, groin area, back of the knee. You can get discoloration, but once again, we never saw that. So I worked on a heart failure floor for 2 years. So I worked with CHF patients every day. It was kind of boring from a therapy perspective because they were just tired and deconditioned. So it was get up and move. It wasn't like it wasn't as interesting as like neuro, where you have to work with people's fine motor, like people can't move body parts at all. But it was yeah. So I worked with CHF patients. For CHF patients are also frequent flyers to the hospital. And you get the same patients over and over again because they're frequent flyers. And he didn't seem to. The only time I ever heard about him ever say that he went to the doctor was when he burned himself, or when he was barbecuing and burnt off his mustache. So, eh, ugh. I lived with the problems for decades. It's just a rough day. It's just a rough day today. Ugh. Okay, this really hits home. December 28th will be the 2-year anniversary of my brother passing from CHF. Maybe. That's the thing about the human body, though. Everybody's different. And he might have also been lying because he didn't want any of us to worry. Plus, no offense, guys, all my men in the chat, but he's a dude. So, you know, like everything is no big deal until it's a big deal. So, mm, uh, just weird. Shortly after Dr. Corcoran's execution of the separation agreement and transition to HWS, Dr. Corcoran received a status change letter from HCA and Merrill Lynch dated March 6, 2022, notifying Dr. Corcoran that the exercise dates for his SARS remained on the 10-year exercise schedule customarily provided to HCA employees. See this status change letter attached as Exhibit 3. I do too. I love Dr. Joe. Yes, and for those of you who Dr. Joe was affectionately named Dr. Goodhair by Megan and Megan's chat during Take Care of Maya trial. All of the witnesses, because Maya was a really hard trial to watch. If you know, you know. It was just so it was kind of like we either had to laugh at things or we were gonna all lose our mind and cry every night. So like we just like we made fun of hard situations. Well, I'm not gonna I'm not saying a word to this because Carmel will come get me. Uh HCA employees who remained active with HCA or retired from HCA were given 10 years to exercise their SAR stock grants. The status change letter reflected the 8,560 SARs HCA had granted Dr. Corcoran during her service. Dr. Corcoran reasonably relied upon the status change letter notifying him that his last day to exercise his SARs continued to fall on various dates in 2029 and 2030, and 2030 and 2031. Dr. Corcoran's reliance was further justified by Merrill Lynch's confirmation on March 4, 2022, that HRIS status update continued to reflect the 2029, 2030, and 2031 exercise deadlines in HCA and Merrill Lynch's systems. Critically, upon Dr. Corcoran's execution of the separation agreement with Far West Division and HCA Management Services, and during the ensuing intercompany transfer to HWS, the exercise dates for Dr. Corcoran's SARs reflected on the Merrill Lynch HCA platforms continue to display the 10-year exercise window that had been in place throughout Dr. Corcoran's tenure with HCA. Although he received the status change letter and actively monitored the Merrill Lynch HCA platforms displaying the customary 10-year exercise window, Dr. Corcoran proactively confirmed with HCA management and the subject matter expert over HCA's stock-based compensation program, that his status and exercise window were being reflected accurately. When Dr. Corcoran contacted HCA's plan SME, John Dries, on or about March 15th, 2022, Mr. Dries told Dr. Corcoran that he had visibility into HRIS, which displayed a status change from full-time to part-time. Mr. Dries, upon viewing this status change, confirmed that the customary 10-year exercise window reflected on the HCA Merrill Lynch systems would be honored. Mr. Dries made these representations to Dr. Corcoran as HCA's employee and agent. Uh-oh. 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 At this point, Dr. Corcoran had received written and verbal notice that the 10-year exercise window would be honored and reasonably relied on these representations by HCA and Merrill Lynch. Had any of the defendants notified Dr. Corcoran at any time that the 10-year exercise window had been altered or cut short, Dr. Corcoran would have immediately exercised his SARS, which only required the giving of notice of his desire to exercise. At no point did any of the defendants notify Dr. Corcoran that the 10-year exercise window had been cut short or altered in any way different from the representations made to Dr. Corcoran by HCA and Merrill Lynch in 2022. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Given Dr. Corcoran's superb job performance and the amicable nature of his separation from HCA and transfer to HWS, HCA rewarded Dr. Corcoran with an additional stock-based compensation in the form of SARS on or about March 11, 2022, after executing the separation agreement. While working in his interim position at HWS and throughout 2022 and 2023, after executing his separation agreement, Dr. Corcoran was identified in HWS's human resources platform as part-time. Dr. Corcoran was never notified of any change in his part-time status to trigger a shortened exercise window. Thus, Dr. Corcoran reasonably relied on HCA's and Merrill Lynch's representations that the 10-year exercise window for his SARS would be honored. I can see where this is going. If you are going to go back and watch, you can skip the first 30 minutes because it's basically me just bawling my eyes out like a crazy person. Yeah. Dr. Corcoran's service to HCA and throughout 2022, 2023, and early 2024, the Merrill Lynch HCA platforms consistently reflected the 10-year exercise window. Throughout 2022 and 2023, and even as late as April 18th, 2024, Dr. Corcoran was recruited for interim positions within HWS, receiving weekly recruiting emails from HWS staff for various roles. During this period, Dr. Corcoran was in regular contact with HWS recruiter Amy Perry. At various times between 2022 and late 2023, HCA executives, including American Group's CEO, Pranav Mehta, MD, HCA West Florida Division, DCMO, Augusto, and I'm sorry about butchering these names, but I'm going to do it, and I'm sorry. Sepulveda, MD, and WFD President Eric Sims approached and solicited Dr. Corcoran for executive interim roles in various HCA hospitals, including facilities in Florida and Texas. In early 2023, HCA sent Dr. Corcoran a 10-year PIN for his continued service. Underlined continued. Whew. On April 30th, 2024, Dr. Corcoran notified HWS recruiter Amy Perry via email that he had recently celebrated my 65th birthday, and with more than 10 years of employment and experience with HCA, and now meet the company's retirement criteria. Please accept this message as notification that I wish to retire from HCA and affiliates like HWS. On January 30th, 2024, Using Merrill Lynch HCA platforms, Dr. Corcoran checked his online account balances, reflecting his vested stock-based compensation, and confirmed a balance exceeding $1.5 million in value at the time, with the SARs comprising the majority. As of January 30th, 2024, the Merrill Lynch HCA platforms continued to reflect the 10-year exercise windows of 2029, 2030, and 2031. Shortly thereafter, in early February of 2024, the defendants quietly and without notice deleted Dr. Corcoran's SARs and a portion of Dr. Corcoran's RSUs and PSUs. Oh my God. Oh my God. That right there, that statement. Holy crap. I just can't, right? Like that statement right there. Uh, I just, yeah, yep, I am, yeah. Remember, this is worth $1.5 million. And I know Dr. Joe is wealthy, but like, you don't mess with someone's money, whether they have $1 million or $5. Like, you don't mess with people's money. Oh my goodness. The only notice Dr. Corcoran received was a sudden change in his online account, reflecting a near zero balance on the Merrill Lynch HCA platforms. Dr. Corcoran discovered the change when checking his accounts on the Merrill Lynch HCA platforms on or about February 6, 2024, when he was alarmed to discover his account balance had dropped to approximately $21,000. I'm sorry, I'm surprised he didn't have a heart attack. With nearly $2 million of SARs having vanished into thin air overnight. None of the defendants ever provided Dr. Corcoran with any advance notice that the 10-year exercise window had allegedly been shortened, that Dr. Corcoran's status within HCA and HWS had changed in any way, or that Dr. Corcoran was at risk of losing his SARs for failure to exercise the grants. Pursuant to the Stock Appreciation Rights Agreements, Composite Exhibit 1, HCA and its subsidiaries could not, quote, amend any terms of or alter, suspend, discontinue, or cancel or terminate the award, Dr. Corcoran's vested SARs, prospectively or retroactively. If such amendment, alteration, suspension, discontinuous, cancellation, or termination would adversely affect the rights of Dr. Corcoran as grantee in more than a de minimis way without the consent of Dr. Corcoran as the grantee. Oh my goodness. Good afternoon. Glad to see you. Oh yeah, Jeff was awesome. Like, yeah, and Old Line Red, I hate it too. I'm still in shock. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. Dr. Corcoran never consented to any amendment, alteration, suspension, discontinuance, cancellation, or termination of his SARs that would adversely affect his rights. HCA's unilateral cancellation and/or termination of Dr. Corcoran's SARs substantially and negatively impacted him in more than a de minimis way. Yet, HCA and its subsidiaries never sought or obtained Dr. Corcoran's consent. Upon information and belief, the vested shares to which Dr. Corcoran was entitled through the SAR. Oh, somebody's awake. Somebody disappeared from their bed, so. But I don't hear any tears, so hopefully she's just coming in here and I'll go grab her some water. Upon information and belief, the vested shares to which Dr. Corcoran was entitled through the SARs and other stock-based compensation were returned to HCA's treasury. Hi, beautiful. Yes. Hi, pretty baby. Oh, you have a sleepy hair. You have sleepy hair. There you go. Somebody's not awake yet. Oh, naturally panicked, I can imagine. During the spring of 2024, Dr. Corcoran repeatedly tried to contact many leaders, managers, and directors at HCA, Far West Division, HWS, and Merrill Lynch, seeking an explanation and redress for the defendant's mistakes and/or wrongful taking of his stock-based compensation. His initial requests to have the grants reinstated were ignored. Shocker. Shocker. I know, right? This is some shady shit. Dr. Corcoran contacted SME John Dries, who had told Dr. Corcoran in 2022 that his 10-year exercise window would be honored after investigating the abrupt change in early February 2024 and the near wipeout of Dr. Corcoran's Merrill Lynch account. Mr. Dries told Dr. Corcoran that the information he accessed indicated that Dr. Corcoran had recently been terminated retroactive to January 20th, 2023. Huh? That sounds like a wrongful termination lawsuit, as well as, I mean, maybe this is turning into a wrongful, not only did you take my money, but you fired me without notice or without warning or without purpose. I, yeah, that thing, that right there, that right there, that comment right there. What were they thinking? This isn't some janitor. No offense. They're pulling this on. This guy can afford to hire lawyers and sue. Yes. And I will be covering this because of the fact that Dr. Joe is an awesome person. And to have Dr. Joe being effed over by healthcare when he's trying to fix healthcare just proves his point even more that things are screwed up. I kind of wonder if they got wind of his YouTube channel and the fact that he testified at um, the Maya trial, and they just weren't happy. Just just a thought, because it might be the healthcare industry might be a big place, but it's also a small world, and people know each other. So yeah, this something's hinky. Mr. Dries confirmed in an email that dated February 8th, 2024, that there was an error in the Merrill Lynch system and that as a result, Dr. Corcoran's equity grants did not receive the proper treatment due to Dr. Corcoran's involuntary separation from HCA. Mr. Dries confirmed that Dr. Corcoran was entitled to a minimum 180-day exercise window upon termination without cause, referencing Section 3.2D of the grant agreement, see Composite Exhibit 1. Dr. Corcoran was initially hopeful that the SARS, PSUs, and RSUs would be restored to his Merrill Lynch account, since Mr. Dries wrote on February 8th that the HCA would get everything back into order. Around the same time, Dr. Corcoran contacted Jen Berries, HCA's Chief Human Resource Officer, to seek redress. Ms. Berries punted the issue to Willette Gatlin, Ms. Gatlin, Far West Division's Regional VP of Human Resources. As Dr. Corcoran continued asking questions and pressed HCA to get everything back in order, as Mr. Dries had reassured him, his access to HCA email accounts, which had been maintained since 2013 and throughout 2022, 23, and 24, was abruptly and without notice severed on February 29th, 2024. Something shady. Something's hinky. Something's hinky. Sorry, I've got to process this. Jeff was an amazing man. I have this feeling all weekend someone was going to pass. First my father-in-law, then me, hospitalized. But Jeff, I'd never guessed. Yeah. And how are you? Are you home from the hospital yet? Mm, I just can't. Like, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to ignore the chat, but like, I'm uh, I'm finally in a place where I'm not crying every 5 seconds, and to look at the chat and see people that are just coming in and finding this out and processing it. I love y'all, and I'm not trying to ignore y'all, but but we're all here together, and we're all going to process it together. On or about March 1st, 2024, Dr. Corcoran was invited to a WebEx meeting with Ms. Gatlin, Mr. Dries, and Tom Scholzen, another HCA executive. During this call, Ms. Gatlin recognized that Mr. Dries had confirmed that Dr. Corcoran's 10-year exercise window would be honored and admitted to misinformation and discrepancies in HCA's handling of Dr. Corcoran's internal transition from Far West Division to HWS. On the same call, Dr. Corcoran was informed for the first time that HCA had unilaterally decided to treat January 20th, 2023 as Dr. Corcoran's termination date, triggering a 180-day exercise window for Dr. Corcoran's SARS, of which he was never informed. How do you terminate someone and yeah, I apparently heard that one too, and I what a freaking day. What a day. Like, I don't even, and I believe his son was his like his, not social media manager, but like his producer and editor. It's just a fucked up day. Let's be honest, it's just a fucked up day. Like, I can't even like describe it as any other way. Like, it's just a fucked up day. Dr. Corcoran asked Ms. Gatlin to reduce the conversation to writing, and on March 6, 2024, Ms. Gatlin wrote Dr. Corcoran memorializing the conversation. Ms. Gatlin attempted to reframe HCA's unilateral decision to treat January 20th, 2023 as Dr. Corcoran's termination date as something that had been agreed upon. The email from Gatlin to Dr. Corcoran, dated March 6, 24, attached as Exhibit 4. Dr. Corcoran never agreed to January 20th, 2023 as a termination date, especially given that he had never been provided notice of this alleged termination date. I know a couple people that did. Pray for Megan. Just pray for Megan. If you're the praying type, pray for Megan. And if you're not the praying type, just keep her in your thoughts. So she got into my our music app on the iPad. And she's playing my workout playlist. So I'm hoping it's not. So if you see her like in the background, over the several communications in spring of 2024, HCA and HWS provided various and conflicting explanations through their leaders, managers, and directors, variously blaming the deletion of Dr. Corcoran's vested stock rights to miscommunications and discrepancies, errors, misinformation, and even a system error at Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch characterized the taking by HCA as an unprecedented and blamed the unprecedented error on HCA without further explanation. Everybody's blaming everybody else and no one's taking responsibility. Does this sound familiar? This sounds familiar. Merrill Lynch informed the plaintiff that all grants which were terminated/canceled due to HCA's maleficence could be restored overnight upon notification from HCA. Yet, at no point has HCA taken the reasonable step of restoring plaintiff's SARS by providing proper notification to Merrill Lynch. So guess what? This shit's going to cost you a lot more than the $1.5 million that was in there. This shit's going to cost you $1.5 million with interest. And lawyers that I'm assuming cost about $1,300 an hour. Because I know a couple lawyers that charge $1,300 an hour. And yeah, and because of the conflict of interest, they're going to have to hire an outside counsel instead of their in-house counsel, because this is an employee, and it could be seen, having their in-house counsel do it could be seen as a conflict of interest, leading to yet another lawsuit. Ask me how I know. Actually, I have an NDA that says I can't tell you. Sorry. I'd prefer not to be sued. Like, I've already people that think they're going to sue me for I already have people that think they're going to sue me for reading legal documents on a YouTube stream. So yeah, I don't need someone to actually sue me for cause. So I'm just going to have to leave that one right there. But a little tidbit into my life over the last 4 years. Dr. Corcoran has continued to seek explanation and redress from HCA and Merrill Lynch without effect. Dr. Corcoran has made multiple demands for the SARS and other stock-based compensations to be returned to his account. Defendants have refused, citing the aforementioned errors and discrepancies and other incoherent administrative explanations. Oh, I love Dr. Joe's lawyers. Oh. And the link to Dr. Joe's stream is pinned at the top of the chat. Go subscribe to him. He left a lengthy post or community post 3 days ago that said he's going to start creating content again in after the new year. Go show him some love. He is an amazing man, Dr. Good Hair. And when you see, like, look at the thumbnail, there's a reason he got the nickname Dr. Good Hair. Because, well, damn, he's got a good head of hair. Just saying. Ugh. Pursuant to HCA's stock-based compensation program, Dr. Corcoran should have been provided notice and a 180-day exercise window upon any change in status or termination, triggering a shortened exercise period. Aware of his rights to a minimum 180-day exercise window under HCA's stock-based compensation program, Dr. Corcoran attempted to exercise his rights and recover the value of his SARS within the 180-day period triggered by HCA's unilateral actions of early February 2024. A copy of Dr. Corcoran's notice of exercising his SARS rights is attached as Exhibit 5. HCA first notified Dr. Corcoran of his termination of employment on or about March 1st, 2024, as memorialized in Ms. Gatlin's March 6, 2024 email attached as Exhibit 4. Despite communicating clearly his intent in writing to exercise his rights within the applicable 180-day exercise window, triggered by Dr. Corcoran's first notification of termination. Hold on, I have to mute this so I don't get a copyright struck. There we go. Sorry, she had sleepy hair and I had to take care of it. And Georgie, if I would have known, if I would have derailed myself for the first half an hour looking like a crying mess, we'd already be done, because the little was actually asleep. So I could have gotten straight to the point and done faster. But she yeah. I love Rush. And I'm glad I was muted because she still had my music up on her her iPad. And she gets my iPad when she streams, because then she feels like she's doing something with mommy, because mommy's on technology, baby's on technology. So I know. This just sucks on, like, this whole year. Like, this was not on my 2024 bingo card. This is just not this is just not it. But yeah, those were the good old days. I mean, I didn't have a channel back then, but those were the good old days. That's when YouTube was fun. Like YouTube lately is not, it's not that it's work, it's drama. I fucking hate drama. Despite communicating clearly his intent in writing to exercise his rights within the applicable 180-day exercise window, triggered by Dr. Corcoran's first notification of termination, consistent with this stock appreciation rights agreement requirements, the defendants have obstinately refused to honor Dr. Corcoran's request. As a result of the defendant's actions, Dr. Corcoran has been forced to return to full-time employment, once again living away from his family in an effort to rebuild his retirement savings. Yeah, go subscribe to him. We have to show Dr. Corcoran our love. I mean, I know he's a doctor, but damn, he's still a person. And when you're counting on that money to be there and all of a sudden it's not, shit changes real fast. Dr. Corcoran has been damaged due to the defendant's acts and omissions. All conditions precedent to the filing of this action have been satisfied. Cause of action, count 1, conversion against HCA. Plaintiff realleges paragraphs 1 through 81 is fully set forth herein. On or about February 5th, 2024, defendant HCA converted to its own use enrichment SARs that were then the property of plaintiff in the approximate value of $2 million. Footnote 2. Since plaintiff SARs were vested, they were fully plaintiff's property. HCA Merrill Lynch platforms through which the plaintiff accessed and monitored the market value of his SARs confirmed that the plaintiff had a rightful possession of the property. Defendant HCA deprived plaintiff of his property without authorization. Defendant HCA had exercised wrongful dominion over plaintiff's property to the detriment of plaintiff's rights as the lawful owner of the SARs. Footnote 2, this value is an approximation only since the SARs at issue are stock-based compensation. The value of the converted SARs fluctuates and has markedly increased since February of 2024. I wonder what $2 million in February of 2024 is what? Probably 2.5 to 3 million now? I mean, when it gets that big, it just multiplies. Plaintiff has made multiple demands for the return of his property, and defendant HCA has refused to return the plaintiff's SARs. Wherefore, the plaintiff demands judgment for damages comprised of the property's value converted plus legal interest against defendant HCA. Count 2, promissory estoppel against HCA. Realleges paragraphs 1 through 81. Plaintiff detrimentally relied on defendant HCA's to promise to honor the 10-year exercise window reflected on the HCA Merrill Lynch platforms after executing the separation agreement. HCA's promise that the 10-year exercise window would be honored was material and is contrary to HCA's latter asserted positions that some other as of yet unexplained event or circumstance triggered a shortened exercise window. Defendants HCA should have reasonably expected its promise to induce reliance in the form of plaintiff's actions or forbearance, specifically waiting to exercise his SARs at a reasonable time within the 10-year exercise window. Plaintiff reasonably relied on HCA's promise to honor the 10-year exercise window. Plaintiff would have exercised his SARs in 2022, but changed his position and decided to patiently wait to exercise his SARs, reasonably relying on HCA's promise to honor the 10-year window. That 10-year window is huge. Injustice can be avoided only by enforcing HCA's promise to honor the 10-year exercise window. Wherefore, plaintiff demands judgment for damages against defendant HCA. Count 3, fraud against HCA. Plaintiff realleges paragraphs 1 through 81, blah, blah, blah. Defendant HCA made a false statement concerning a material fact when it provided plaintiff with a status change letter reflecting the plaintiff's 10-year exercise window that remained in effect after plaintiff signed his separation agreement. I like this. I mean, I feel bad for Dr. Joe and all this, but like, he's got a damn good case, in my opinion. Not a lawyer. HCA's false statement was communicated on HCA Healthcare letterhead via the March 6, 2022 status change letter attached as Exhibit 3. He got receipts. Did you not expect a doctor to keep receipts? Just saying. Defendant HCA made a false statement concerning a material fact by and through its executive and agent, John Dries, when he told plaintiff that HCA would honor the 10-year exercise window for plaintiff SARS. Mr. Dries' statement that plaintiff's 10-year exercise window would be honored was made on or about March 15th of 2022. HCA's compensation representatives further told plaintiff on or about March 15th, 2022, that vesting of his SARS and stock-based compensation would continue as long as plaintiff remained employed by HCA through HWS. When these statements of material fact were made to the plaintiff in March of 2022, HCA knew they were false. HCA intended for plaintiff to rely on its representations that it would honor the 10-year exercise window, that vesting of his SARS would continue as long as he remained employed by HCA through HWS, and intended to induce plaintiff's inaction in failing to timely exercise his SARS. Yeah, if they would have told him that you didn't have 10 years, you had 180 days, he wouldn't have waited. But you fucked him over. Like, you fucked him over. And Dr. Joe doesn't strike me as the kind of person who would take being screwed over laying down. He's a fighter. I mean, you can't make it to where he made it in life without standing up for yourself. Like, did they really expect him to just take this shit? Like, here, 2 million turned into 21,000, but there you go. Have a nice day. No. No. HCA intended for plaintiff to rely on its representations that it would honor the 10-year exercise window and that the vesting of his SARS would continue as long as he remained employed by HCA through HWS, and intended to induce plaintiff's inaction in failing to timely exercise his SARS. They tricked him. Oh, they knew. And then to not take blame and to put it on everybody else and just pass the buck. It's like calling the VA and just being passed around on the phone. Well, you have to talk to this person. You have to talk to this person. No, bitch, just fix the problem. Side tangent. HCA intended for plaintiff to rely on its failure to communicate any change in the applicable exercise window after the March 2022 misrepresentations, and intended to induce the plaintiff's inaction in failing to timely exercise his SARS. HCA induced plaintiff's reliance by failing to notify plaintiff of any change in the exercise window for his SARS. HCA's subject matter expert, John Dries, confirmed in March 2024 that HCA had retroactively altered Dr. Corcoran's status in HRIS to terminated and backdated the termination to January of 2023. How do you backdate a termination? Like, just how do you do that? Like, how? Like, I just don't get it. HCA induced plaintiff's reliance by failing to notify plaintiff of any change in the exercise window for his SARS. And Mr. Dries admitted that the change in HCA's HRIS was made in February of 2024 and retroactively dated to January 20th of 2023. HCA induced plaintiff's reliance and in fact forced plaintiff's reliance by backdating a retroactive termination, and in doing so, denying plaintiff any opportunity to exercise his SARS. You tricked him and stole. But let's translate this into plain people English. Willette Gatlin, the Regional VP of Human Resources for Far West Division, confirmed by email on March 6, 2024, that plaintiff had been told by compensation that the vesting would continue as long as plaintiff remained employed by the company, HCA. Ms. Gatlin further admitted in the same email that HCA had made false statements to plaintiff, euphemistically using the term misinformation to describe HCA's false statements. Ms. Berries admitted that plaintiff had been given conflicting information and that plaintiff should have been given 180 days to exercise his SARS in an email she sent to plaintiff on March 13th of 2024. And that there had been some miscommunications. I love how it's a miscommunication. No, bitch, you fucked up. You fucked up and you refused to fix it. Therefore, I'm suing your ass. Ugh. it sounds like they miscommunicated his intent to sue them. And he thought that, or they thought that he was just going to sit and take it. Wrong answer. You don't steal almost $2 million from someone and then expect them to just sit there and take it. Ugh. As a direct and proximate result of HCA's fraud, plaintiff incurred damages and consequent injury by relying on HCA's representation that it would honor the 10-year exercise window. Wherefore, plaintiff demands judgment for damages against defendant HCA. Yeah. Not really, because he has emails. He has receipts. Always keep receipts. Always have receipts. So that you can say, when they said, well, now they're saying this. It's like, no, in an email, that's not what you said. Not what you said 6 months ago. It's not what you said 9 months ago. You might be saying this, but your representative told me something else. So y'all better fix your shit. Count 4, civil theft against HCA. Plaintiff realleges paragraphs 1 through 81. Under section 812.035 Florida statutes, plaintiff alleges that HCA's actions rise to civil theft. I don't disagree. The plaintiff has repeatedly demanded the return of his property in the form of vested SARs, PSUs, and RSUs from HCA. On or about October 2nd, 2024, plaintiff made a written demand upon HCA for the return of the property and further notified HCA of his intent to seek treble damages if HCA did not return such property within 30 days. And this is why when you have a phone conversation with somebody or a video conference that isn't being recorded on your side, it might be recorded on theirs, but those recordings can be quote unquote deleted. This is why when you have a conversation with someone, you say, can you email me that? Can you email me a synopsis of our conversation? So just because he has some receipts doesn't mean they didn't tamper with them. See that a lot on YouTube. Yeah, I don't think that, no, because Dr. Joe was, yeah, like, no. I'm sure that the receipts are the receipts and are not modified for YouTube, because he is not talking about this on YouTube. He has not put out content in 6 months, and now we know why. So, but emails are different from that. Different from what? If he has emails from one person in the company saying this thing, and then the other person in the company saying something else, you're those are pretty damning. Well, that's not what you told me before. And when it comes to money, you don't play. You don't play. You don't lie. You just So HCA did not respond within the statutory waiting period of 30 days or otherwise refused to comply with plaintiff's demand. HCA's conduct is theft under section 812.014 Florida statutes, as plaintiff had and has the right to possess his SARs and has demanded the return of his property, but the property has not been relinquished. Yeah. Plaintiff demands judgment for treble damages, attorney's fees, and any other just relief against HCA. Wherefore, plaintiff demands judgment for damages against defendant HCA. Count 5, breach of contract. Plaintiff realleges paragraph 1 through 81. The stock appreciation rights agreement between plaintiff and HCA constituted a binding and enforceable contract. That it did. As an express provision of the contract, HCA agreed in section 5.6 that it could not amend any terms or alter, suspend, discontinue, cancel, or terminate the award, Dr. Corcoran's vested SARs, prospectively or retroactively. Oh, that pesky word. if such amendment, alteration, suspension, discontinuance, cancellation, or termination would adversely affect the rights of Dr. Corcoran as grantee in more than a de minimis way, without the consent of Dr. Corcoran as the grantee. Can't change anything without cooperation. Dr. Corcoran never consented to any amendment, alteration, suspension, discontinuance, cancellation, or termination of his SARS that would adversely affect his rights. HCA unilateral cancellation and or termination of Dr. Corcoran's SARS substantially and negatively impacted him in more than a de minimis way. Yet HCA and its subsidiaries never sought or obtained Dr. Corcoran's consent. Oh, them pesky contracts. As additional express provision of the contract, HCA agreed to provide notice to Dr. Corcoran using procedures specified in Section 5.3. HCA failed to provide notice to Dr. Corcoran of any change in employment status or any other decision by HCA adversely affecting Dr. Corcoran's rights. HCA materially breached the contract by failing to obtain Dr. Corcoran's consent and further materially breached the contract by failing to provide the requisite notice. In the alternative, HCA entered into a modification of the contract through its representatives, including Mr. Dries, who confirmed to Dr. Corcoran that the 10-year exercise window reflected in HCA's Merrill Lynch's systems in 2022 and 2023 would be honored. They screwed up and they're not taking responsibility and just fixing it. Because it would take what? 15 minutes for someone to go into a computer and fix it? And here they are 7 months later with a lawsuit? Like this, so now you're gonna have to be paying even more? And those lawyers are expensive. HCA's modification and amendment to the contract honoring the 10-year exercise windows, which Dr. Corcoran consented to, constituted a binding enforceable contract. HCA breached this contract by unilaterally deciding to reverse or dishonor its decision, as conveyed by Mr. Dries, an HCA's employee and agent, in terminating Dr. Corcoran's SARS and or imposing a shortened exercise window without notice or consent. The company's material breaches directly and proximately damaged the plaintiff, wherefore the plaintiff demands judgment against HCA. Oh, count 6, constructive fraud against Merrill Lynch. Plaintiff realleges paragraphs 1 through 81. Merrill Lynch owed plaintiff a duty under fiduciary relationship due to Merrill Lynch's undertaking to oversee, manage, maintain, and affect plaintiff's exercise rights and options about plaintiff's stock-based compensation, including plaintiff's SARS. Merrill Lynch abused its fiduciary relationship and took unconscious, this word always messes me up, unconscionable advantage of plaintiff by failing to notify plaintiff of any shortened exercise window and by allowing HCA to withdraw or otherwise nullify plaintiff's vested property rights in the form of SARS PSUs, RSUs, maintained on the Merrill Lynch platform and managed by Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch misrepresented the duration of the exercise window on its platform, or in the alternative, concealed HCA's intent to take plaintiff's SARS and failed to notify plaintiff of HCA's intentions. Merrill Lynch, and that's over my head. I don't know what Merrill Lynch's responsibilities are as a fiduciary. Money management and stock market stuff is not my strong suit. That is Mr. Squid's area of expertise. I don't have a clue. Any problems I have in that area, I go to him. So this part I'm like, I'll take your word for it. Merrill Lynch either made false representations to plaintiff, intentionally concealed material facts from plaintiff, and or failed to disclose material facts that it knew plaintiff needed to know. Merrill Lynch's deception, failure to disclose, and or concealment directly and proximately injured plaintiff. Wherefore, plaintiff demands judgment against Merrill Lynch. Count 7, breach of fiduciary duty against Merrill Lynch. Defendant Merrill Lynch owed plaintiff a fiduciary duty in overseeing, managing, and maintaining plaintiff's stock-based compensation portfolio, including a SARS. The service provided to plaintiff by Merrill Lynch exceeded those of an ordinary banking relationship and constituted a special relationship of trust between plaintiff and Merrill Lynch. Hey, John, how are you? Ugh. Defendant Merrill Lynch owed plaintiff a fiduciary duty to advise the plaintiff of his rights and options concerning his stock-based compensation portfolio, including his SARs. Defendant Merrill Lynch owed plaintiff a fiduciary duty to notify and inform plaintiff of any status changes that would materially affect his legal rights and options concerning his stock-based compensation portfolio, and to ensure the plaintiff is fully advised of any alteration to his exercise window to avoid losing rights to vested shares. Defendant Merrill Lynch owed plaintiff a fiduciary duty to coordinate with HCA and protect plaintiff's stock-based compensation portfolio from unlawful conversions or takings by third parties, such as HCA. Yeah, you're fine. We're all in that same boat. Yeah, we're all in that same processing. Yeah, I can't think about it right now. Defendant Merrill Lynch breached its fiduciary duty by failing to advise plaintiff of a shortened exercise window, instead continuously representing to plaintiff via Merrill Lynch's platform that the 10-year exercise window remained in effect up until the time that plaintiff's SAR balance was zeroed out without any advance notice. Defendant Merrill Lynch breached its fiduciary duty by failing to refuse to comply with HCA's unilateral and unlawful decision to convert plaintiff's SARs, and by failing to disclose plaintiff's HCA's wrongful intentions and actions. Defendant Merrill Lynch breached its fiduciary duty by failing to advise plaintiff at any time that his SARs were at risk and subject to being converted or otherwise taken by HCA due to plaintiff's failure to exercise his SARs. As a direct and proximate result of Merrill Lynch's breaches of its fiduciary duties, plaintiff was damaged. Count 8, breach of contract against Far West Division and HCA Management Services. Plaintiff realleges paragraphs 1 through 81. The separation agreement between plaintiff and Far West Division and HCA Management Services, collectively the company, constituted a binding and enforceable contract. And as an express provision of the contract, the company agreed to honor plaintiff's entitlement to vested incentive compensation, further to communicate the contract terms to HCA and its subsidiaries and affiliates to ensure HCA understood the plaintiff's vested incentive compensation was to be honored. The company materially breached the contract by failing to communicate the terms of the agreement, failing to honor the contract, and failing to protect the plaintiff from HCA's malfeasance. The company's material breaches directly and proximately damaged the plaintiff, wherefore plaintiff demands judgment against Far West Division and HCA Management Services. Count 9. Oh, and we are on 23 of 30. So this is, yeah, large cookie acquired. You know, I was doing really good with my diet today, but I think I'm having pizza for dinner. I'm going to make pizza and a milkshake. I'm just going to. Baby girl, can you change that song? She's playing Bigger Houses by Dan and Shay, and I think I'm gonna like start crying again. So no problem. Jeff was awesome. Like Jeff, that was Uncle Jeff. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet Jeff and bring him on stream. Jeff was fun. That word was. Can you change that song, please? Baby girl. Can you please change that song? Don't smile at me like that. Hugs. Oh, thank you. Ugh, that smile just kills me. I'm probably gonna be sick from it, but yeah, every time I eat, I cough. Like I don't know if I'm basically allergic to food at this point in my life, but like if I eat anything, like I could go and have like a piece of bread and I'll cough for like 15 minutes after I eat. It's like, that's how you can tell I ate real quick right before I streamed, is I'm sitting there coughing for the first 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden I stop. It's so weird. Hugs. It's a day. It's a day. Yeah. It's a day. All right. I think it is 3:30. We are on page 23. Um, I'm um I'm gonna we're on count 9. I think we're gonna come back to this probably tomorrow. Um, I'm streaming with Brad at noon from 12 to 2. We're doing more of the deposition, but I might start at 11 and do part 2 of this. We are going to finish it up and get into the exhibits, because that's where all the fun is. So, and then I'll just redirect to the other yeah. Because yeah. But what I did want to show you, this is the interesting part. So here's the Childers Law Office in Gainesville. But if you look at these email addresses, so Selden Childers is the lawyer who wrote this, but look at this name right here. Look at that. Nicholas P. Whitney. Isn't that interesting? I just thought, like, this right here was like, look at that. We might get, if this, I doubt this will make it to trial, because one, it seems like Dr. Goodhair has receipts and contracts, and you don't have to, it's hard to fight a breach of contract because it's literally in writing. Like, it's all you have to do is prove that they breached it, which is kind of obvious by just the facts of this case. And yeah. Yeah, Megan posted a tweet about 1 o'clock that's how I found out. Well, Tammy texted me, and then um yeah, HCA will settle out of court, because I worked for big healthcare, and they the discovery would not, if you don't settle, all the skeletons come out of your closet, and I can guarantee you that a nationwide healthcare company has a lot of skeletons. So they'll never make it to court, but it's good to see Whitney back in action. So on that note, we are going to, and one more time, I'm just going to put Dr. Joe's, go show Dr. Joe some love. He's awesome. He's a good man. And from the sounds of it, he has a pretty decent case. And he's very intelligent, so I don't think that he would even try to take this to court if he didn't have the receipts to back him up. All right, so we are going to redirect, and we are going to go to I'm sorry. So I'm on my main page. I was going to go to content so we could redirect, and on my main content page, I can see the latest comments that people made, and somebody made a comment, and go like this comment because it's hilarious. She said, "I'm pretty sure Bruce got his law degree free in a box of Weedos." I mean, he ain't wrong. So sorry. I love y'all's comments. Y'all make me laugh. Y'all make me smile. And right now we all need to find something to smile about. Do customization, redirect. Let's see. Let's go. We are going to the Wilborns for a tinfoil hat stream. See what she's talking about. Get your tinfoil hats ready, people. Y'all have a great day. You sent me an email yesterday. I will check it. I admittedly haven't checked my email today. So thank you. Y'all have a great day. There's this girl with half a brain. That comment was put on yesterday's video. Um, go like it. Just go like it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye. Either that or depending on how I feel today, maybe tonight I'll run out and grab a bottle of wine and we'll just commiserate together. Bye guys. Love ya.